All right, we're going to get right into forms. So typically what you're going to do is go to sites and then forms. Normally, when you're building a sales funnel over here under sites and funnels, you will build out this whole funnel, and the section that you want to add a form actually is in this section. So it's in a completely different area. So you're going to go to sites and forms, and this is where you have to build out the form, and then you can attach it to the funnel that you're building. So I'm going to show you how to create a new form. And so you're going to go to sites and forms, and you can go to builder. That's the page that we're on right now. Once you get some analytics, when people are actually opting in, entering their name and email address in the form, you can analyze the results and then also see the submissions. So when someone opts in to the form, all the submissions, you'll go to that page and see all the submissions there. So let's go to builder, and I'm going to actually, let's show you the form features, because they've actually made so many updates recently to high-level forms, and I wanted to show you this section here where you can actually sell products from a form. You can have extensive elements with drop downs and multiple check boxes, math scoring, and conditional logic. So I'm going to go through a few of these things, and then there's more templates down here too. So when you go to add a form, you can either start from scratch. I'm going to go with basics, but I'll just click on templates just so you can see some of the templates here. When you're making a form, it's typically, like I said, you're collecting information, contact us, stay in the loop, newsletter type of basic information. I'll go into surveys here in another video, or at the end here, where maybe you're collecting more insights and information from your clients and things like that. But typically you're going to use a form for the opt-in, and or make it really simple. So let's go to add a form, start from scratch, and create. When you start from scratch, you have the basic information: first name, last name, phone number, and the star right next to it is required information. You do have to have a name and an email. You don't have to have a phone number, so you can delete this information here. But when you start from scratch, this is the basic stuff that comes through. So I'm gonna, let's say we want to, for marketing purposes, you want to really like cut it down to just name and email. So you can actually delete. You can hover over these items and click delete. Maybe you're just asking for the first name and email. And you can also, you don't need to have this consent form unless you're asking for a phone number, and if you want more information about phone number, type of things, A2P, that's in another video. So let's go with the basics so we can delete that. So over here on the left, the form elements are the basic information. Like I was saying, you can actually sell products and collect payment. And if I want to bring back maybe even just a full name instead of the first name, I can just drag and drop these items, these quick add items, over to the left, and really build out the form how I want it. Also, let me add some more information. Actually, let's say we are going to add the address, and the city and state already pulled in there. Let's say that we want to create a single drop down with some options, so we can do that as well. And when you click on it, see, this is the basic information single drop down, but we're going to want to create, this actually creates a custom value, and that is the label that it just kind of gave it a number on its own. And so we're going to want to change that label. So maybe I want to say, let's see, let me think of a drop down that I want to say, do you have a license? Do you have a spell? And maybe you want to have a drop down that says yes and no. So you're going to say, click on the options, and then the option 1 is yes, option 2 is no, and 3 you can say other, or whatever you want it to be, right? So or I don't have to have 3, I can have 2 options. And then this here, the query key, is something you want to also make up, otherwise it just names it automatically. Also, let's see, let's save that. Let's say the design wise, I had another question someone asked me the other day. It was like, I want to make it so that there's 2 columns, and right now it's 1 full column with, except the, you know, city and address and things like that here. What we can do is click on this top right hand column with these arrows and the dots. That's the styling option. So right now it's on a single column, and we're going to do 2 column, so we can have everything on 2 columns. This part of the address search is automatic, so it's like that. But you don't actually, this is a new thing. So when someone types in their address, it actually auto completes what the address is. If you don't want that, you can turn that off. So it's like that. So if I want to have 2 columns, I can do that. If I want everything to be on a single line, I can do that. So I just wanted to show you the styles and the options here that you can play around with. The width, the field spacing, the margins, and the paddings around each of the sections here. Colors in the black background, you can change the colors and backgrounds here. And if you want to do some advanced options, you can click on advanced options here. You can do custom CSS in this section here. So yeah, there's a lot you can do. Actually, a friend of mine was asking about that CSS section. It's hard to find. You have to go into the advanced settings and go to custom CSS here if you want to. If you know CSS, I don't know any CSS, so if you want to get fancy, you can do that. So you can also even, there's so many other elements down here. You can have a signature. You could actually also even, like if I was building out an onboarding form, I could put a file upload section here and say upload your logo, upload company logo, and make that a required option. And when they upload the file, you can actually create upload file options. So maybe just want, it has to be a PNG or JPEG, or you can just leave it to all, right? Or allow them to upload multiple files. When a file comes through, it's going to be attached to their contact, and in the settings, in the submission settings, it'll actually upload into your media storage, and then you can get a link to it so that you can download it onto your own files or desktop, but it will be inside of the system if they upload their logo here. So another thing I want to show you as well is the conditional logic over here on, before I go to that, actually I'm going to go to custom fields. Typically you can start adding things and pulling things over how you want, right? Like you can have a text box list, multiple instead of a single drop down item right here that I created. You can have a multiple, you can have a checkbox, you can have a radio button. You would create specific custom fields that you want in this form. And so you can drag and drop any of these elements and start creating custom fields. I was just having a session with a client of mine, and the custom fields here, as you build them out from the quick adds and you start naming them, they start, they're being created on the back end over here. And what I typically like to do is actually start from the custom fields section. So where you're going to find these sections or these fields is in the settings. So I'm going to pop out real quick and I'll show you that because I did a quick add and added this, do you have a license? It's now going to show up in the settings section. Let me make sure I save this in the settings section of the custom field area. So I'm going to go to settings, custom fields. It's going to be right here. So I'm going to I'm going to search license, and there it is. It automatically put it in the contact section of these folders. If you want them to show up in different folders, so you can create a new folder here in the custom fields area and put that question in a specific folder. So for instance, I'll add a new one. So I'll say new form. I'll just put it here, test. So that form is going to be the one on the bottom. And if I move that license question, in the fields, do you have a license? If I move that from the contact section and move it into the regular form, so you have a form 20, move to the test. Oh, so it was in that form that I was creating. But if I wanted it to be in a specific form, I can move it here, and then it will move that to down here into this form. And I'll show you how it looks like on the contact itself. Let's see if I have. Here is a test contact. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom, and there it is, new form test. Move my picture out of the way. New form test, and there's that question right here. So there's yes and no drop down here. If I want to move this form up, so the general form, the contact form here is like basic information, also basic forms that come with the CRM, additional info also. If I wanted to move this in a particular order showing up on the contact itself here, I have to do that under settings, custom fields, and that folder is on the bottom here. I can move that to the top, move these in any order. You just can't delete these folders that are already in here. These are my custom folders here. And now I'm going to go back to the contact again, and you see the forms now at the top above contact. So there's just kind of like a way that how you want to see the contact and how you want to see the custom fields being shown to you. So let's go back and put it back here. I actually like to have the contact information at the top. So let's go back to forms, sites, forms, and we are on this one here. Oh no, that was a different one. Actually, I was on form 20. So another cool thing is, like, if I have, let me put some more custom fields in here. So we have that question. Let's say we have other questions here and another question here. Now, depending on, we can do some conditional logic. So I want to share that with you. Over here on the top left, we have the section where we were earlier, like quick add and custom fields. Also, actually, this section here is I really want to go over is the conditional logic. You can get really fancy, and what I like about this is based on what question they answer, you can show people or hide things or even disqualify a lead based on the questions that they answer. So, for example, and before I get into actually, I want to go over one other thing here on the top left, which is fairly new as well, is the notification settings. So before, I would actually have to create an automation to internal notify me every time someone submitted a form, or else you just don't get notifications. Now you can do that right here under email notification. You can receive an email when someone filled out your form. You just toggle that on. So I don't have to make up a whole new form with all of the custom values and fill out a whole email to send me the information on that form. This makes my life so much easier. So you click on that section right here, you toggle that on. Of course, you can rename the title, subject of the form. You put in the email address that you want to send the internal notification to, and what the reply to email is going to be, the sender name. You can leave it blank, and it will just show up as the company name. Autoresponder, send an email, automated responded to the person who submits. So if you want to submit a copy, if the prospect is filling out the information, you want to turn that on, you can do so as well too. Typically, I just want to be notified every time someone fills it out, but you can turn it on. So let's get into the conditional logic. So if someone fills out the form, you can redirect it to another landing page, a thank you page, if you'd like. Otherwise, another area over here on the settings, if you click on options on submission, it's just going to say this message: thank you for taking your time to complete this form. This is automatically in here. If you have this form on a funnel, you could actually push that when someone fills out that form on the funnel itself. There's a go to the next page in the funnel. But also here's another option. If you're having issues and you're like, why is it going to some other page? It's because this right here. So you could either have it go to this message, or you can, you can customize what this message is, or you can open it to a different total URL. Or you could also, if this is a sales page, you can also click order confirmation once the payment is successful, if you're like taking a payment on this page. But typically I usually either have it go to the thank you page using this on submission, or the message directly just using that. There's also other options here: Facebook Pixel ID, events, form settings, that you can add more additional things if you want. Sticky contacts, so if someone has been to your page before or is in the system, their email will automatically be pulled in, or using the GDPR type of thing. But anyways, let's go back to this is also another section here that you say if they fill out specific information, which also could be different, then send them to a specific website, right? So if they said, yes, I have a license, maybe is equal to yes, then you can send them to a different one. If they said no, you can send them to a different site. So that's really another difference between where it's going to be redirected based on answers that they submit. And also you just play around with it. If any question, and then you can is equal to, or is not, or contains a specific answer, or if there's math logic too, you can do that too. Specifically what I like to do is use the show and hide fields. So if they answered yes, then maybe I want to actually only show this next question, whatever the question is, or say show this question. If do you have a license is empty, maybe like they're just getting to the form and nobody's answered the questions yet, then I want to hide all of the questions underneath, and maybe you want to hide more than one question, so I can say hide multiple, hide this one and the one below it, and click save. So if someone comes to the form, I'll show you what it looks like. I have these two things down here. If we preview this, if I click integrate and open the form, there you go, see it updated. So if it's blank, then it's not showing me the other two questions that were underneath it. But if I say yes, then it shows it. So you can make a whole bunch of different logics. Maybe if they said no, only show this one question. So I'm going to go back to the logic and add another hide field. So if this question is equal to yes, then show only the next question, or whatever questions that you want to show. Then let's go back and save this and show you what that looks like. Refresh. So when it's like yes, no, then it only shows that one question. Also, as you saw I did here, is you always want to make sure to save after you make any changes, but when you click on integrate, you can actually embed this code and put that form on any site. So it doesn't have to be inside a Highlevel. It could be ClickFunnels, it could be WordPress. You could put that form and embed it on another site, and you can use these different embedded layouts that you want. If you want to size it a specific way, you want to have it pop up or inline, or have it on a sticky sidebar, you can choose these different options here, copy the embed code, and put that on another site somewhere else. Typically I would also, if I'm lazy and I just want to grab the link, I can open this link and then grab that long link and then send that over to someone to fill out that form. Also, when you're in funnels, now that this is saved, when you're creating your funnel, you basically are going to, let's see if I have this is my demo account. We're going to grab a link here. 30-day lead challenge. When you go to add the form, let's go to the pop-up. This one has a pop-up. You're going to add a row, and then I can add the form on the left as an element, and I'll grab the 20, and you, in the drop down I was able to find that 20 page that we were working on, and then it's embedded right there. So typically that's how you would pull in the form from the form section into your funnel. But you can also have it hosted just right on that website with the long link. Of course, you may probably want to shorten that link, or you can actually just send someone that link right away, and the form is active, ready to be filled out. The next step, I mean, I can go on and on the conditional logic. Hopefully that makes sense, and you can play around with the conditional logic part of the feature. But that was one of the cool features that I learned about when wanting to show specific items based on the answers of other questions on the form. So conditional logic. So there's lots of things. Hide fields, show fields based on this and that. Again, so display a custom message. If a certain answer is filled out, you could customize, show a specific message. You could also do disqualifying a lead. So if they answer, like, maybe you have a question that says, you know, how much income do you make, and they are disqualified if they don't answer the correct question, then you can show them a different message on the way out, or send them to a different website. Okay. So the next step was to create an automation once the form is filled out, if you want certain items to be triggered. So I don't have to do that in another video. If you have any questions on the conditional logics and creating a form here in Go Highlevel, let me know. I know this actually went longer than I wanted to, but that is how you do create a form. You can even just be super basic, name, email, phone number, and do a lead generation form for a funnel, or go into more in-depth information that you might need. You can also do the same thing in a survey. Surveys typically have like multiple pages, multiple questions, where maybe you could have it all in one section, or they go into like typically like a survey where they fill out information and then it goes to the next slide and the next slide. But I definitely have replaced Typeform and any other like JotForm, other things like that, with Highlevel's forms section. So another feature, very highly valuable as far as another subscription that I've cut costs. I had Typeform for a long time, and you can make them look really nice too if you want to get more fancy. If you have any questions again about forms, let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you on the next video. Much love and aloha.